Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today is October the 4th and I'm here with another segment for you. This one is quite long, so bear with me as we get through this one. Growing up in South Carolina, I always felt special. It wasn't because I was really cute or really smart or even really talented. I grew up in a predominantly Chinese community, surrounded by tons of people who looked nothing like me. Imagine me, a little brown girl, week after week, going to a school, performing Chinese cultural dances, competing in Chinese language, special competition, spouting fluent Mandarin Chinese. That, however, wasn't the only reason I was memorable as a child. I was a daydreamer, living with my head in the clouds. Not much changed as I grew up. I was a go with the flow, live in the moment type of person with an often changing, mostly fuzzy plan for my future. However, in 2008, that all changed when I met my husband. He was the complete opposite of me. I felt myself falling in love, not just with him, but with how clearly I could see my future with him and him a part of it. The course of my life changed as we got engaged, began living together, and started our lives hand in hand. For the first time, I actually had an agenda. I found myself motivated to get things done. I was the hammer, and life was a series of nails as I was going to indiscriminately bang them out. However, it didn't take long before life came to a screeching halt. A few weeks after my graduation ceremony, I felt a lump in my armpit while I was shaving. After a few days of obsessively feeling myself up, I decided to show my husband the lump. We waited a few weeks to see if it would go away, and when it did not, I took myself to the doctor. Shocked by the diagnosis, the afternoon, the biopsy, I remember leaving work early to get it done. I remember how painful it was because the numbing agent was starting to wear off. I remember the radiologist asking me if I could just stay still for just a minute. She hadn't quite finished as quickly as possible. As I got dressed, she went up into the lobby and asked my husband if he'd come with me to get the results the following Tuesday. That was so nice that they did that, I thought. I had no idea that she had already had an idea of what the results would show. So she balked when I said, "Oh, it's okay. I'll just come alone." First thing in the morning, I walked into the Women's Cancer Center with my husband. I was all ready to get in, get out, and get to work. I didn't feel nervous until the nurse walked in with a grim-looking radiologist who handed me a packet with my biopsy results. As you can see, it did come back cancer. Navigating the next steps. The next week, constantly of a days, an amount of appointments with an oncologist and a surgeon in a case with a tumor board to determine the best course of treatment. My main concern was how we would get there and was the cancer a part of my body. My surgeon was quick to assure me that it probably wasn't. Relenting, he sent me on to get a PET scan if it wouldn't make him feel better, but it made me feel better. At this point, I decided to get a second opinion at a large cancer center about an hour away. They met me and met my husband and the breast surgeon. I was in love. He was amazing. So the next step, his team, they explained the basics of breast cancer and that the treatment would be including chemotherapy, surgery, followed by radiation. And then the hand stuck out the door after my PET scan, handing the PET scan report to my doctor. I watched her as her eyes traveled down the page, nodding at each section. "Oh," she said, turning the page. What felt like hours passed before I learned the results, that they had found a spot on my spine was also now cancerous. Everything changed in that moment. I was just 28 years old and I had been diagnosed with stage 5 metastatic breast cancer, and the treatment would be for the rest of my life. Over the next few months, I experienced the most emotional pain. I had no idea how I was supposed to act or how I was supposed to feel. I felt like I was losing the best part of my life while simultaneously taking them away from my husband, from not having children, not raising them, not planning a future or a retirement. Even to this, I asked myself why I waited to have children and why I didn't be more diligent with my exams. Over the time, I went on being constantly scared, being sad, and sometimes just losing hope. I took more and more comfort in everyday things like going to work, cooking dinner, having brunch with friends, and traveling with my husband. I'm not going to tell you that it has been easy. It has been difficult, but each day holds moments in which I don't remember that I had breast cancer until I see my metastatic scar in the bathroom mirror looking back at me. There aren't just good days or just bad days. There are bad minutes, bad hours, but the most amazing moments and terrible ones all in one. I have an amazing doctor and a team of nurses who answer every question as I went from appointment to appointment. I have a loving husband and wonderful friends who came to my aid and when I couldn't help myself. People say in tough times you find out who your friends are. I found this out in a lot more ways than one. People popped out of the woodwork to help, like when my husband has meetings at work or when I needed to research my health insurance benefits to find out what was covered. They even threw me a surgery shower before my bilateral mastectomy. Learning to let go and accept how this has impacted my life has kept me in a positive direction. Right after the diagnosis, I started hormone receptor blocking treatments that managed to keep my cancer at bay until one of my routine PET exams showed progression. I was crushed in the moment, but then I found out that there was a treatment that I could be on forever, and it was Imbrance. I stayed focused on my diagnosis and a treatment plan. I have worked full-time in the cancer center at the community college. I have gone to the gym when I felt up to it, and sometimes very just sporadic. I ran errands and I enjoyed the exciting things in life. I do, however, know that I can stay positive in what life has for me, whether it be with cancer or not. But I cut myself out a little bit of slack when I couldn't at all at times. As much as I loved living with focus and learning to embrace a good thing, I think there's something to be said for a go with the flow, life in the moment kind of lifestyle after cancer diagnosis. In fact, that's what living with something like cancer is all about. Embrace the most fuzzy, often changing, but beautiful plan for your future. You never know what's ahead. So just a bad diagnosis doesn't mean it's the end. So stay diligent and get those exams. It could be your life that you're saving. Take care. God bless, and I'll see you back in the next video.